Jones, look at that balance. Here comes the Cardinal blitz. Geno Smith, light spiral, intercepted by Tyler. We're back.
Well, it's Monday night, a new week has begun. I turn on
Saw that coming, and Daffy's coming over after getting that hand hit. And then Shaq Barrett plays, looking at that hand.
The biggest game each week is there.
The touchdown. We saw Philip Lindsay come off the field indicating an issue with his right hand. You can see right there.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? We're ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. Hey, this is rockin' random, Hank. Ready to get the good time started.
Okay, welcome to week 9 of Are You Ready for a Podcast, the official podcast of Are You Ready for Some Football Fantasy Football League. I'm sorry, week 8. We're halfway through the regular season, so yeah, we're through 7 weeks. And so I am your host Joe every week. I'm always joined by Parker. How's it going?
It's good, Joe. It was a good week.
I agree. We're recording this a little late. We're recording on Friday night. So the Thursday night game has already happened. So I apologize for the inconvenience. Parker doesn't. But hopefully we get this out to you before the games start on Sunday. So our first matchup of the week was pretty surprising one. Or I guess not that surprising, but two teams it's surprising that they were the two highest, that this was the highest scoring matchup. That two teams that we're pretty low on to begin of the year, Dan and Ben. Dan is really impressed the last few weeks, got a huge win over Ben, 138 to 115. Ben, just his second 100-point performance of the season, second 90-point performance of the season. I just continue to be really impressed by Dan. Obviously with the one huge issue with him, Ja'Marr Chase, who had a huge game with Joe Burrow, is now out for 4 to 6 weeks with his hip. So that is not very good for him. But Dan's team, honestly, really showcasing his depth. And he'll have Tyler Boyd, who also had a big game, be able to step in and replace some of that Ja'Marr production. So kind of nice for him that he has a little Ja'Marr handcuff of sorts. And for Ben, first good game, second really good game of the year. Mahomes, big game, got just some consistent performances down the board. Finally got a big George Kittle game, his best game since Ben traded for him. Running back situation's tough right now. He was without James Conner. Miles Sanders was on bye. James Conner is going to be out this week, so his running backs are still a little banged up. But I was just really impressed with Dan here.
Yeah, I was impressed with Dan. Obviously, he jumps off the page with the Ja'Marr and Joe performance, but I was actually impressed with Ben too. His best performance of the year, the Latavius Murray, Keontae Ingram backfield, I would not have pegged for 20 points between them. But those were some smart plays there. And then, he really should have won. It was his best performance of the year and a really good week, and he just happened to run up against Dan.
Yeah, he was third in scoring this week. So yeah, really, really unfortunate. And the luck rating there for Ben. So our next matchup is going to be another kind of similar matchup, which is a big 130 to 110s game, which is Hunter beating Nick 136 to 111. Nick continues to slide. Just unfortunate he ran into the second highest scorer this week. Hunter, what else is there to say about Hunter's team? Aaron Jones kind of finally got back on the schneid a little bit. And then Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has just been awesome this year. Had a monster game, and so he was able to do this without all of his receivers on bye basically, and Jefferson and Gabe Davis and Tyler Higbee his tight end. Like, to put up that performance with so many guys on bye, not really much more to say about Hunter's team. Nick's team, he continues to get the receiver performances, and he got a good Zeke game, but his running back situation just continued to be bad. I'm not, Zeke will probably not play this week. I'm still not super high on him for the rest of the year, and I just don't feel good about any of his running backs really. And I guess he has Deonta Foreman now. He's got the Panthers starter, so I guess he has a starting running back just for the worst team in the league. I don't know. I think I've I tried to stay high on Nick's team, and I think I just got to drop him a little bit. He, I think he just continues to kind of disappoint. It was a good performance. He did put up a top 6 week. I think top 5. I think he was 5th in scoring this week, but yeah, he ran in the wrong team at the wrong time. But I kind of continue to be a little disappointed by him.
Yeah, tough luck performance for him. The Mike Williams injury hurts. He liked having that stack with Justin Herbert.
Right.
And obviously, yeah, the running backs keep letting him down. And then for Hunter, I mean, he's through his big bye weeks. He's 7-0. Do we start talking about undefeated season? Yeah, it's not out of the question the way his team's playing right now.
Yeah, he is in a really good division. He's gonna have to play Colin again. But Colin's team we'll get to is a little beat up. He's got to play you again this week. He's got to play and then he'll or no, he already played Nick.
Yeah.
So I think he's done playing Nick. So yeah, there is a little bit of a tough stretch ahead for him, but 7-0 and clearly the best team in the league. It's certainly on the table. So we'll see if the 72 Dolphins have they're still.
No, he should play Nick again. This was his first game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He played you and Colin. That's right. So yeah. So our next matchup will be was the roommate battle between Morgan and Austin. Austin finally got a 15-point performance out of his quarterback. I'm sure he was very happy to see that, and it just wasn't enough. Morgan, Kenneth Walker, who has been obviously it was helped a lot by the Rashad Penny injury, but has just been a huge ended up being a huge draft pick for him. Morgan has built great running back depth, as we've talked about in the last couple of weeks. And so that was able to propel him to the win. The Cowboys defense put up a monster game also against the Lions. And then Austin just had a pretty consistent performance across the board from his team. Just wasn't enough. DK got hurt. That was a tough injury. And so I still remain pretty high on Morgan's team, still kind of mediocre on Austin's team. Don't love the running back depth. He's got 2 of them, and then really nothing after that. I don't know. There's a ton to say. I wasn't too shocked by this outcome.
Yeah, nice win for Morgan. I agree. Interestingly, the top 6 teams played in the 3 matchups so far. So the top 6 all played each other. The bottom 6 all played each other this week in scoring.
That's true. Yeah.
Which is a little bit strange. But yeah, so a little bit unfortunate by Austin to get the loss. Obviously the DK injury was partially to blame, and had a few guys on bye as well. But yeah, nice win for Morgan. The running backs look really good, even despite essentially the loss of Jeff Wilson.
Okay, yeah, and so so a lot of unlucky performances this week, and then a lot of lucky performances with the top 6 playing each other and the bottom 6 playing each other. So we'll start with me and Thomas. I was 7th in scoring this week, 102.4 or 102.34 to 86.4. I wasn't too impressed with my team. I think the Travis Etienne, James Robinson being traded, I think is a huge step for that. I do have Michael Carter. The Breece Hall injury was big for Michael Carter, but then they got James Robinson, so I guess we'll see on Michael Carter, but that's big for Travis Etienne. Eno Benjamin stepped in huge. He'll be the starter for another week. So I'm just trying to patch things together a little bit with my flexes and my running backs. The McCaffrey trade, I think will end up being really good for him. I think the 49ers will, provided his knee doesn't rip up with that turf, will be very good for him. But I don't know. I think it was a little lackadaisical performance for my team. But when I was playing a team like Thomas, who's obviously had the really unfortunate Breece Hall injury, that's that 102 will be enough to get you the win against him most weeks. And then so Thomas is just really close to being dead in the water. He's really got 2 running backs, a receiver, and a tight end that are his only rosterable players now. So I don't know. He's going to really have to patch things together on the waiver wire, which he has not been keen to do because he has all of the bad Cardinals receivers.
I agree. He's got basically nothing from his depth so far. Starting DeAndre Swift when he was injured didn't help him, but I mean, he may have put AJ Green or Nelson Aguilar in there, who also didn't get any points. So, his depth just completely let him down. Got 1.3 points combined between 3 of his starters. You're not going to win a lot of games like that. But yeah, good win for you, taking care of business, doing what you need to. And obviously with the ETN situation and now McCaffrey and everything, probably you're feeling a ton better about your running back room than you were before this week. So overall, hugely positive week for you. And for Thomas, yeah, it's just kind of all falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say. So the next matchup would be you took on Colin. Really, the most shocking performance of the week. You were a big underdog to Colin, and Colin just kind of like Grant and Hunter last week. Colin just did not show up to play. His team did not get off the bus outside of Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler had almost half of his points with a huge game, and everybody else was just terrible. He had 5 performances at 1.4 points or worse in his starting lineup. So that is just awful luck there. I mean, I think Drake London and James Robinson, who have been two guys he's gotten some good games out of early in the season. I don't feel good about either of them at all. I mean, James Robinson's now a backup or is now in a timeshare in New York. Drake London, the Falcons never throw the ball. So those are 2 previously very usable options that aren't very usable right now. For your team, I guess I'll let you tee off on this a little bit. Still don't love your running back depth. You kind of have to, you're kind of figuring stuff out with your second running back. Is it going to be Devin Singletary? Is it going to be Darrell Henderson? This week it was Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards did get hurt on Thursday. But I still am pretty high in your receiver room. And Taysom kind of taking over your tight end spot from Pitts probably isn't the outcome you were desiring for when you traded for Pitts, but has been a nice surprise for your team. So but always nice to get a win with 88 points.
Yeah, obviously Colin lost this one more than I wanted. I'm happy to get the win because he's a better team than me, and I just caught him on a terrible week. But I kind of agree with you. I think my running back depth is a cause for concern, and obviously the Pitts trade is sort of blown up in my face at this point. But for Colin, it was just I didn't even realize this was in the cards. Obviously Josh Allen on bye didn't help, but he had Amon-Ra get hurt early, and then Mark Andrews just with a kind of unexplained dud, and then
he was kind of playing hurt. So
yeah, but I don't know, and James Robinson just getting 0 points. It just all everything blew up for Colin. Even good teams have these weeks, but I didn't realize it could get this bad. And fortunately, I was able to do just enough to get the win.
I mean, you had Colin in one of the power rankings last week. Obviously, we'll get to it, but do you feel any sense of urgency for or cause for concern for Colin? Because I think I do.
I mean, yeah, if your team, I've been in this position before where Colin is, where you have a good team and you feel like you haven't capitalized. Now, he's been great, but he's 4-3 and he's favored to, we'll talk about it later, but he's projected to lose this week, which is, if he's 4-4, he's got Hollywood Brown injured. He's, his team's kind of banged up. We don't know about Amon-Ra yet. People have been missing a couple weeks of concussions. Mark Andrews is banged up now. And so, it's really Josh Allen and Eckler have been carrying his team. But if you're 4-4 with a couple of other guys banged up, you're sort of starting to tread on dangerous ground. So I still think his team is really good. Obviously, when it gets fully healthy going to the playoffs, I think his team's going to be really good. But you do have to start to ask some questions whenever the record doesn't match how good the team is. That's a really scary spot to be in that I've been in a lot of times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think obviously he's gotten some pretty bad injury luck, but yeah, I mean, he's got a ton of upside when he's healthy, but as of the state of his team right now, I think Eckler and Josh Allen can only take you so far. So I would definitely be concerned because he had a couple games. He played Hunter when they were the top 2 scorers. And, he lost with the second most points. So I think if he's 5-2 right now, he's feeling a little bit better than where he is right now, because then you're still a game clear of all the muck behind you. So anyway, our last matchup of the week will be Zach versus Grant. I mean, Zach was able to beat him 88-74. Just really strange weeks from Grant. This is now, he was last in scoring last week. He was 11th in scoring this week. Just honestly shocking stuff after he got off to such a good start. He was 4-1 and things were looking good. Now he's dropped 2 straight with 2 duds of a performance. Obviously, you would rather lose with really low scores than with really high scores, but I mean, it's just tough. So you lose to Zach. Zach was without Dalvin and Diggs. His team is built off of essentially 3 guys, and then kind of everybody else built around it. And 2 of those 3 guys were out, and he still got the win. That's huge. I I still don't love Zach's team. It's been weird. I've gone back and forth on it, and I feel like even though he's been winning a little bit, I still don't love it. Like I think just it's a little bit reliant on those three guys, and I just don't love the production out of it. Grant, I mean, I gotta be honest, I got concerns. I think with the Bucks, like Leonard scored last night, but the Bucks offense look terrible. Nick Chubb, I think, Nick Chubb's fine. I think we all like Nick Chubb. But then his receivers have really not stepped up. He has a good tight end now because I stupidly dropped Freiermuth whenever he had a concussion. But now Clyde's in this weird backfield situation. Brian Robinson also sort of a weird backfield situation. Maybe DJ Moore, him being the only option in Carolina now, maybe that kind of he gets revitalized and that'll help his receiving core a little bit. But I really don't like the spot Grant's team is in right now, and he's 4-3, and he's in the medium division. He's not in, or is he? Yeah, he's not in the all good division. But yeah. So I've got some cause for concerns for Grant, but I guess an okay win for Zach.
I think that's warranted. I had Grant at 3 in the power rankings last week, but you're right, 2 bad performances in a row. And I just am a little lower on his depth than I was before. So I agree with your assessment from that standpoint. There are some more questions for Grant. But his team's going to go as his running backs and Lamar go. And if they could turn it around, which I think they're good players and they can turn it around, he'll be okay. Obviously, yeah, big win for Zach with those guys on bye. All you're looking to do when those guys are on bye is scratch out a win, and he was able to do that. So good job for Zach. He was able to kind of earn back some momentum after I think he was on a 3-game losing streak before that. So good win by Zach to kind of claw one out and get back in the win column after 3 straight losses while scoring 100 points.
Really? Wow. Yeah. So I guess the luck kind of evened out a little bit for him, winning with 88. So we'll move on to our power rankings. As always, I guess we'll go quickly from 12 to 1 or 1 to 12. I guess we'll do. So for me, this week I have Hunter at 1, pretty indisputable. I still have Colin at 2. I can't think of a good second team now. It's kind of it gets really murky after Hunter. I have Morgan at 3. I still really like Morgan's team. I have Dan at 4. I have Zach at 5. I have you at 6. I have myself at 7. I have Grant at 8. I have Austin at 9. I have Nick at 10. Ben at 11, and Thomas in last.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty similar to you overall. I made the flip back to put Hunter at number 1. Pretty obvious after this week. I thought last week Colin's team was just better, but looking at it now, Hunter's 3 games clear, and Colin with the injury concerns, the Andrews, everything. I think you're right. This player is indisputable. Hunter at 1, Colin at 2. There's not another obvious candidate there. I agree with you. I got Dan at 3. I think Dan's a pretty clear cut 3, and I think the top 3 are kind of starting to extend themselves away from the pack. I'm a little bit lower on Morgan than you are, obviously, but I've got you at 4, Zach at 5, Morgan at 6, me down at 7, actually me up to 7, and then Grant's the big follower in my rankings. I got him down 5 spots to number 8, which is also where you had him. Nick at 9, Austin at 10. So we have those 2 flip-flopped, and then Ben 11, Thomas 12.
Okay, so pretty similar bottom 4.
Yeah, we have the same.
And then even we're similar on your team. I mean, I have you at 6, you have you at 7. I guess our 2 disagreements here would be Morgan and me. I have Morgan at 3. You have him at 6, and then you have me at 4. I have myself at 7. With Morgan, I think honestly, with Morgan versus Dan, I think Morgan, I just kind of like Morgan's upside a little more. I think both have pretty good depth right now. Dan will be without Jamar, so that'll definitely hurt him. And with Morgan, I really like his running backs. I mean, Najee Harris is his 3rd running back, and even though Najee hasn't been very good this year, him as a 3rd running back is still a really good spot to be in. Obviously, the McCaffrey thing kills Jeff Wilson, but I mean, he was going to probably be supplanted at some point by Elijah Mitchell anyway, even if they didn't make a trade. So I don't think that's too big of a negative for him. And then, and then Dan's loss and Jamar is his gain with T. Higgins. Still has Jalen Hurts. Like, I just still really, really like Morgan's team. Outside of him streaming tight ends, I really can't find a weakness for it. And then I guess Deebo and Keenan Allen. Deebo's hurt right now. Keenan Allen is kind of always hurt, but I think if he can get those guys back healthy, I think he pretty quickly. I think he could have a chance at challenging Colin as the second best team.
I think I'm a little lower than you. I think Kenneth Walker is really good, obviously, and Jalen Hurts and Dameon Pierce is a good running back too. And then T Higgins, at least for a little while, is going to be an elite wide receiver one. But the rest of the team is where the question marks are for me. I don't know if you can trust Debo. I don't know when he's going to come back. He's been injury prone in his career, and now they have McCaffrey, so we'll see if that cuts into his workload. And he really hasn't been that great this year anyway. And then the bigger concern for me is that he's 3-4. If he loses this week, which he's projected to as of this recording, to be 3-5, in the medium division is a lot tougher road than being 4-3 in the easy division, which Dan's in. So I think, to me, that gives Dan the edge to put him at 3. Is the division that he's in. I think Chase will be back, and I think Dan is in a good enough position that he can sort of wither the storm with Tyler Boyd and everything. So I have a little more faith in Dan's team.
Well, so you have been big on the division. So is that why you have me and Dan at 3-4? Because our 2 other division mates are at 11 and 12. Because I feel like you've emphasized that a lot. And really, I played Ben one more time and I played Thomas one more time. So I guess it's a little bit of an advantage. But now Dan and I still have to play each other, and both of us are presumably pretty good right now. So I don't think the division is as important anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. It's only one more game. But yeah, y'all each play the bottom 2 teams once. And when everyone is so congested, every winnable game is a big edge. Because where Morgan is, he's a game behind in the standings already to Dan, and then if he loses this week and he's 2 games behind Dan, and then Dan has 2 easily winnable games coming up, that makes a big difference. So I think that's a big factor. And I don't know, I'm a little lower on I think Morgan's running backs than you are. I mean, I like Kenneth Walker. I think he's going to be good, but he has scored a bunch of touchdowns so far. That's kind of propped up his value. I mean, I think he's probably a back end running back 1, maybe the 6 to 10 range. And Dameon Pierce is good, but I don't know. I don't love his depth, and I'm worried about where he's at standings.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I still don't love Dan's. I still don't know about his upside, especially without Jamar. Obviously, if Jamar comes back and if he's still in a good spot when Jamar gets back, I think I'll have him up pretty high. But yeah, I'm a little that worries me a little for the next few weeks. So I guess that's about it. I mean, we disagree on my team a little. I don't think we have to get too much into that. I think my running back situation is definitely improved, but not as improved as you seem to think it is. And then my receiver situation is still there are 3 pretty good receivers, but I still don't love them. And then I haven't gotten really anything out of streaming quarterbacks and tight ends. It's been tough. So I mean, I don't love my team still. Yeah, I think it's okay.
I'm really high on your running backs, receivers. That's the main difference.
Yeah, you love ETN. So really quick before we go, I made up some mid-season awards. I just have 5 here. So for MVP, I think that's obviously Hunter. Kind of no arguments to be made. For most improved, I have Zach, who had a really bad year last year and is now 4-3 and is nice in the power rankings here. For best trade, I have Morgan straight with Nick on Morgan's side. I think getting Jalen Hurts and getting Dameon Pierce was big, and then he got T Higgins on that trade too, and so T Higgins will be a star receiver here for the next few weeks, and has been pretty good this year. For best draft, obviously got to go with Hunter again. He basically drafted all of his guys that have put him at 7-0. I think we got Trey. Sorry, we're watching the Pelicans. I'm watching the Pelicans game right now. And for best waiver wire pickup, really the only one of value. The waiver wire has been very barren this year. I guess Jeff Wilson earlier in the year for Morgan, but right now I think you gotta go Gus Edwards, provided his health by you. He's kind of the only guy currently being rostered that is really worth anything on the waiver wire. So those are my midseason awards through 7 weeks.
I like it. Look at that preparation.
All right. So anyway, so yeah, we will be joined in the next segment with a very existential Thomas. So stick around for that, and we'll be back right after the break. All right,
let's get this shit over with, man. I fucking hate fantasy, dude. I fucking hate fantasy.
All right, Joe, you can.
God. All right.
Okay, welcome back to the interview portion of the episode. We're now joined by Thomas. Thomas, how's it going? I can't
It's-
imagine very well.
It's fucking great, man. It's great. I love fantasy. I love it. I love it.
Well, so obviously your team has been decimated by injuries.
Again, dude, don't get me started. Don't, dude. Why?
It sounds like you want to get started, so
Dude,
we'll let you get
This
started.
is like, why does this happen to me? Like I feel like I made every right move and I'm just getting shit. Is this what you feel like, Parker, every year?
Yeah, pretty much.
This
I
is,
think-
this is
I think-
hell.
I don't know that I've ever had 2 starting running backs just get essentially 3 of your running backs have been hurt at all times this year. You
I
basically have
know.
1 healthy running back, even though you drafted 4.
I know, dude. I planned for injuries, and then the fantasy gods were like, "How about 4?" This is only pain,
Yeah, but
I'm
now
gonna
you've
decide.
got Jimmy Garoppolo.
dude. Okay,
So-
cool. So my quarterback position just got 100% hotter. Like I have the most attractive quarterback, and that's it.
You have a good tight end.
What is
Nice.
it? Zach Ertz.
That hurts. He's good.
Yeah,
That's about it.
I'm starting fucking second Gesickians and at my flex too, because that's literally my whole team is just dead.
This interview's already gone off the rails. I think
know.
we need to rein it back in.
Okay,
Well,
whatever.
I was actually gonna bring that up because you brought up the flex. Is like your fascination with the Cardinals wide receiver core. Can we get a little insight onto that?
It was a good idea. It was a good idea. All they do is throw it far. Like it was such a good idea. And then the stupid Cliff Kingsbury can't coach a fucking parked car. Like why?
He's a bad coach. I don't know.
He's terrible. And they're all like, I mean, like, what is it? I can't remember. Who did I draft? I drafted did I get AJ Green? Let me go.
You have
look.
AJ Green, you had Greg Dortch, you had Robbie Anderson on the Panthers, and then you got
I have
traded.
Robbie Anderson. Yeah. I also got Rondale Moore and then dropped him, right?
Yeah, you had Rondo Moore, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Zach Ertz.
So
And you have Zach Ertz,
Ertz.
yeah.
Yeah, shit. Oh God.
So
I
you
just
got all the
figured-
Cardinals receivers, just not the 2 good ones.
Okay, Dortch, yeah, for real. Dortch, I just thought was a cool name, so I was like, cool. It just happened to be on the Cardinals. I thought Rondale Moore was going to be like, like the next breakout receiver or whatever. I thought he's like dummy fast, and Kyler Murray likes throwing it stupid far. And like all last year, their entire offense was just let's throw the ball far. That's
I'm not sure that the Cardinals have much of an offensive scheme. It's kind of just like hopefully Kyler can do something cool. Because we're not going to actually draw up any real plays.
Yeah, I'm benching every single receiver because COD just came out. So
Well, yeah, actually, because the
That's
Chiefs
even worse.
won last week and they all played COD together before the game. So I think that's
They
what the
actually-
Cardinals need to do. So
Yeah.
Kyler just playing by
They-
himself and what?
they need to steer into Kyler's addiction and just like everybody gets addicted.
It's good team building.
Oh my goodness, you're so right.
Yeah.
I like that. So Thomas, my question is, so before this year, it seemed as if after starting off the league as, obviously the worst team, things had kind of stabilized. You had gotten it to where you pretty much won 5 games every year. And by that, I mean 5 of the last 6 years, you won exactly 5 games.
Really?
Which
What
is,
was the other one?
you won 8. That was the year you made the playoffs.
Oh shit.
That was, yeah.
2018.
The last 3 years, you won exactly 5 games. 2018, you won 8 games. And then 16, 17, you also won 5 games. So yeah, things had really stabilized, leveled out. People before had been muttering about it being a poverty franchise, but those talks had kind of gone away. But now
No,
what-
they haven't. Okay. Look, I may not be like a poverty franchise. I'm just the most unlucky franchise now. I don't know what you've done to me, Parker, but fuck, it hurts.
what's your NFL equivalent? Are you like I wouldn't say you're the Lions, but maybe you're like the Commanders.
Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. No, you know what? Morally questionable owner. That's fair.
I mean, which owners aren't though?
Well, these last 2 years have like, I feel like I came out of the draft and I was like, dude, my team is fucking crazy. My team is insane, right? And like, even in both of those, both preseason podcasts, both of y'all were like, dude, his team is crazy, right? Like at least both of you.
Yeah, I
were
remember
like,
when I had you ranked.
top
I really
five.
liked your team.
I had you at 5.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
top 5 both years, and I was just like,
Yeah,
and
last
like,
year-
I
yeah.
thought it was like, I was like I am easily making the playoffs. I could make a run, and then now I'm sitting here at what 2 and 5 or whatever, and like all 4 of my running backs share one knee, and like I don't. It makes me so angry. Like, what was it? What was that? Oh, there was an absolutely legendary rant of I am just done watching football on Sundays. I am.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really felt like that in like week, I don't know, maybe it was week like 3. It was very early in the year.
It was awesome.
But I don't know, like, so there's something to be said for like, drafting well, like making good moves on the free agents. But like, obviously, if you just lose Breece Hall and Javonte Williams for the season due to injuries, and then DeAndre Swift has played like 2 games so far. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, there's nothing that you could do about that. So
Yeah.
at
What
this
do you?
point-
Yeah.
At
Sorry.
this point, where's your head at? What's the goal for the rest of the season? Because technically, you still could make the playoffs.
Really? What is it? Joe sent me a trade offer.
Yeah, I
and
sent
he
you a
was
trade
like,
offer, and you just said
I just
hate
fucking
fantasy,
emoed.
let
I
me
was-
die in peace,"
I was so
something like
emo.
that.
Just,
And in retrospect, you absolutely should have taken that trade because you would have ripped me off.
I
What was the
figured-
trade?
It was
I can't
it was
remember.
ETN and Michael Pittman for DeAndre Swift and Allen Robinson,
Oh man.
and that offer is no longer on the table.
I didn't even look at like the offer. I was just like, dude, just let me die. Like, I
Hey, but Juju's turning it around.
don't care, man. I don't care. There's just like, okay, because the thing is like Juju was my only quality receiver, and he's been total dog shit for what 6 weeks.
Well, he's been good the last couple of weeks because
I actually liked your receivers when it was Allen Robinson and Juju after the draft.
Yeah.
It was.
But then
Allen
Allen Robinson, like, it was pretty clear he sucked, like, in the season.
right.
Yeah, but Juju's been better. He's been better recently. He's
Yeah, Juju and Joe Mixon and DeAndre Swift and Zach Ertz are like your only rosterable players. Everybody else is like essentially a waiver
Dead.
person.
Or trash. Because
Yeah.
like I figured like because we're bidding and stuff, and I figured if I just loaded up on like high-end talent, it would work. Like, why I hate fantasy, man. I hate fantasy.
I think it was the right idea. I think that you just sort of got boned by injuries. And it seems like everyone who gets hurt just is on your team.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you have clearly the 2 biggest season-ending injuries so far.
Dude, and Breece Hall was tearing it up, dude. I felt like such a genius.
Yeah.
No, you had 4 good running backs. Yeah, all 4 were good.
Oh my God, man. This is only pain.
So, yeah, we've kind of talked about your history in the league and kind of where you're at now, and it seems like maybe not super optimistic about the rest of the season moving forward, but you do have a chance to play spoiler, obviously, because you still have 7 games left. So my question is, if you had the chance to knock one team out of the playoffs, who would you have the most fun knocking out of the playoffs?
Oh man. I'd have to like look at the standings. Here, let me go look at the standings.
Well,
because like there's like
Basically, everybody but Hunter is still.
Yeah, 'cause
everybody but Hunter. I
remember
is
Hunter.
a guaranteed playoff spot, and everybody else is.
like you're literally 2 games out of second place. Like,
yeah, that is so stupid. Like with my dude, if I limp to the playoffs, everyone who doesn't make the playoffs should quit.
I mean, you're in the bad division, so doesn't pride.
yeah, look, you beat Dan this week. You're 3-5. You probably lose to Hunter next week, but you never know. But even then, if you're 3-6, all you got to do is win probably 4 more games, and you got Morgan, Ben, Joe, me, and Grant. Like,
Yeah.
none of those teams
Sounds
are,
pretty winnable stretch.
yeah,
I could-
none of the teams are like great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would always love knocking Dan Murray out of any contention.
I like it. So we're gunning for Dan.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is like I can think about playing spoiler all I want, but at the end of the day, my team is like a morgue. Like I don't get it. Like, it's only pain. I think you keep going like you were talking about like where my head's at, and it's just apathy. Where it's just like, well, maybe I should. This is my motivation to get in shape so that I can do all the Sacco punishments. Like.
Well, there's only one.
Oh, what is it?
You're just gonna have to come into Baton Rouge and move the trophy to whoever. Although
that's so lame.
Unless Nick wins it, then you're gonna have to bring it to
the reason that it's not lame is because Nick lives in Utah.
I thought we were still doing like the whole like decathlon thing.
No, so if Nick wins the league, then someone has to either bring the trophy to Utah or ship the trophy to Utah, which is going to be exorbitantly expensive.
Oh, that's awesome.
But as long as Nick doesn't win the league, it won't be that difficult.
Yeah.
Or Grant wins it. You have to bring it to Houston.
I'm in Austin.
Yeah, but you have to come and get the trophy. You have to come to my house and get the trophy.
Oh.
Well, I guess probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Fuck, man.
But
okay, well now
Nick's teams are kind of bad right now, so
when you just ruined like the only bright spot I had, because I was like, I've never done the Sacco punishments for how terrible, huh? No, why would I want to do them on my free time? What do you want me to do? Just send it in the group me? Just be like, hey guys, just drink 14 beers, ran 14 miles, and what is it? 814 donuts.
Yeah.
Just for funsies. Look at me. Look how quirky I am. Like
that would be good content. We're all about content in this league.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I feel you on the apathy thing. It kind of sucks because it's like you feel like there's no point in even watching.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I even doing? Why am I just
you have never been in the position that like Thomas is in right now, where you're just completely out of it after, not completely out of it, but pretty much out of it after 7 weeks.
I'm pretty
well, it was you.
You always barely miss the playoffs.
No, there was one year that I was really bad.
No, I remember there was one year where Parker lost like a lot of players, but also Parker could have just been like being like, oh,
like
everybody feel pity on me.
It's very rare to be out of it like 7 weeks.
2019, I started out. 2019, I was 2-6 through 8 weeks.
Okay,
that's pretty bad.
It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me by the end of this week, dude.
Hey, you never know. You could always beat Dan. He lost Jamar.
Okay.
Except Jamar thinks he might be built different.
Dude, yeah, wait, I did see that. That is that is insane. Especially, I do. Don't I have T. Higgins?
You do not have T. Higgins. No. Morgan has T. Higgins.
Oh shit! I thought I had somebody.
You don't have good receivers on your team.
That's true. Actually, we just established that. Never mind.
All right, are we ready to move on to picks?
Anyway, yeah, I think that's a good transition to picks.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, we're recording this on Friday night, so these are a little adjusted lines after the Thursday night games.
I actually haven't looked at the scores either.
Well, we'll call them out and you can make predictions. So our really low scoring projections this week. Our highest projection after the Thursday night game is Austin and Zach, which is 115 to 109.7 for Austin. That's a 224.7 spread. Zach had Tom Brady last night in the game. No real bye weeks of concern. Austin, Mecole Hardman, that's pretty minor. Austin will be without probably 2 of his receivers, and Michael Thomas, who may never play football again. And so yeah, Austin is a 5.3 point favorite here. Both of these teams they've both been kind of dwindling, and my power rankings kind of going back and forth on both of them. I think I'll take Zach here. He's getting his guys back. He had Dalvin and Diggs on bye, was able to get a big win over Grant last week without him. Gets him back, still has Saquon. So I don't know. I kind of like Zach's team. I'm believing in Romeo Doubs to Aaron Rodgers keeps shitting on his receivers, so one of them is going to respond at some point. So I kind of like Romeo Dobbs this week. So I'll take Zach here.
I'm gonna go with Austin. I think he's got, his team goes as the Dolphins go, and he's got Tua, Raheem, and Tyreek all playing against Detroit, who we know doesn't play any defense. They got fast turf, so I like Austin.
All right.
I actually like Zach, and it's because I think his running backs are just too good, and they're facing two terrible defenses. I think Saquon is Seattle. Seattle plays like negative defense. And then Dalvin is playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals, and they definitely don't play defense. And
to be fair, Austin's running backs are playing the Raiders and Detroit, so not really any defense against.
But I think just like Saquon and Dalvin, that combination is just much better, especially when it's trash defenses, and will be the difference.
I like Zach's team well rested with his two main guys. So we'll move on to our next matchup, which is Hunter and Parker. Hunter, a pretty big projected winner here, 117.1 to 104.4 after Parker had Gus Edwards play last night. So that's a 221.5 total. Again, no bye weeks here. So Parker, what are your thoughts?
I think Hunter, obviously, by a million. Derrick Henry, I saw somewhere, is averaging 38 points a game in his last 3 games against the Texans. So he might score enough to beat my team by himself. Hunter, easily.
Yeah, I can definitely see that prediction. But you mentioned the Derrick Henry. Obviously, I think he's going to have a big game. So that's going to lead me to take the over, I think. I like both of these teams. They're both at pretty full strength. The Gus Edwards 6.5, not great for that. This is an adjusted line based off of that, but not great for that. But I really like the matchups. Otherwise, I love Jonathan Taylor against the Commanders. And then Hunter's got Josh Jacobs against the Saints. Saints haven't been playing much defense, and obviously Derrick Henry. So I do like the over here of 221.5. Thomas?
On principle, I cannot pick Parker. Especially after you said that you played Gus Edwards. This just seems like an L to me, a fat L, especially to someone who's undefeated.
You don't believe in the bus?
No, no, not at all. What did he score? What did he score?
He had 6.5, then he got hurt. Yeah, he had.
Oh yeah, so the usual.
Pretty mediocre game.
6.5 on 16 snaps, pretty good.
Yeah, no, he had a good rushing game. Just didn't catch a pass, didn't get in the end zone. So anyway, our next matchup is Grant versus Hunter or versus Morgan. I do that a lot. I mix up Morgan and Hunter on the podcast a lot. Anyway, Grant versus Morgan. Grant is a big comeback. When he's actually a projected favorite after the games last night, or after the game last night, he had Lamar scored 21.8 and Leonard scored 13.3. So right now he's a 104.6 to 100.6. That is a 205.2 projected total. Oh, and Morgan had Rashad Bateman who goosed last night. So that is probably why Grant is favored now, because I imagine Morgan was favored going into last night. Grant will be without Clyde, who's on bye. Morgan will be without Keenan Allen on bye, and also doesn't really play football that much anymore.
More than Michael Thomas, apparently.
A little bit more than Michael Thomas, yeah. It's tough after last night, definitely for Morgan. I do like Morgan's team better. I'm gonna take Grant. I think Grant's got to be due for some good luck here. He's gotten too many bad performances, and so I think you have Morgan, who early in the year had a bunch of points against bad luck. Grant is historically a bunch of points against good luck. So I think I'm gonna take Grant here.
I think it'll come down to Monday night. We got Nick Chubb going against T. Higgins. I don't trust Cincinnati's passing game without Jamar. I need to see that first, so I'm going to take Grant.
I'm going to take Grant as well. And Morgan always finds a way to lose. It's actually uncanny how many times he just loses just for like no reason. And that's
true. He was riding hot, and then like last night did not go like his way. So that's, every time I think Morgan's trending in the right direction, and I really like his team, like just he loses his
Debo's out this week.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
like,
Devo's that too. That's a good point.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know why you've been on
Campbell.
the
Yeah.
Morgan train for
Yeah.
if you
I
are
forgot, yeah.
on the Morgan train, that shit's been derailed for like 2 years.
Yeah,
like Paris
Devo's out.
Campbell, Sam
Jeff Wilson's
Ellinger.
not. Yeah, Jeff Wilson's not useless with McCaffrey there. So yeah. So I feel good about the Grant pick. So our next game will be myself and Ben. I'm a 17-point favorite here, 106.8 to 89.4. That's a total of 196.2. So last week I picked the over again with playing against Thomas. That didn't hit. So I'm gonna call out my team. I'm gonna pick my team to win. I'm not scared to pick my team, unlike Parker. And I picked against them, or I picked the under or something last time I played Ben. That didn't work out. I'm gonna take my team. If I can't beat Ben, then my season's over. I'm 3-5 with a pretty tough stretch coming up. So I'm gonna. This is a call out to my team to not mess around with an inferior opponent, and so I will take my team to win.
Yeah, no way you lose this. I think you too.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think
Okay.
your running backs are just. I mean, like your team is just better. Like
Yeah.
I don't.
Ben
there's-
is without James Conner this
This
week.
should-
Is without Patrick Mahomes this week.
Yeah, this should be a short
Yeah.
segment. We should move on.
Yeah. This will be great when I lose. So our second to last matchup is Nick versus Colin. After last night, Nick now a 103.4 to 89.4 favorite. Kind of a surprising initially it would be a surprising projection, but Colin does have Austin Eckler on bye. He's got MVS on bye. Benched Devin Duvernay a good game, and then played the Bucks D and Mark Andrews last night, who both had underwhelming games. Nick started Mike Evans, who had a good game last night. So Nick is a 14-point favorite here. That's a total of 192.8. And so I think I'm just gonna. Colin's team has been leaking some oil here. Isn't in a great spot right now, and especially without Eckler. No, Nick's let me down too much. I'm going to take Colin in the big ups, or I guess in this upside. And I think Colin will turn it around. He's gotten too much bad luck too many bad performances the last week or so.
At least he got a performance. Okay.
Yeah. So I like Colin to turn it around after the rough Thursday night he had.
I'm taking Nick. I can't take a team playing Chase Edmonds in the starting lineup. So I'll take Nick, although he does need to be up a ton because Colin's got the last guy playing, which is going to be Josh Allen on Sunday night. So Nick needs to be up by like 40 to feel safe.
Yeah.
Maybe more than that. But
also, yeah, that's true. Should point out for Nick, no Zeke, or likely no Zeke, no Mike Williams, and no Justin Herbert.
I'm still going with Nick. I'm pretty sure Mark Andrews not do so hot?
Yeah, he only
way?
4.8 last night. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what did Mike Evans get?
15.3.
Yeah, I mean, like Mark Andrews is probably one of Colin's better players, and you get him 4.8, and you expect to win. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Park though. Like, I would just be really scared of Josh Allen on Sunday night. And so our last matchup will be you, Thomas. You are a very heavily projected underdog against Dan. 101.5 to 77.7. That is a total of 179.2. Dan had a decent Chris Godwin game last night at 10.5. Dan will be without Jamar, who is hurt. He's without Kelsey. He's without Pacheco. You will be without Juju. So yeah,
my entire team, dude. I'm gonna get shit on. All right, like this is like this should be the easiest. Like my game should be the easiest for every single guest. Like I'm gonna get destroyed.
Well, you're starting Breece Hall, who we did talk about. He has a torn ACL. Will not be playing any more games this year.
You're not starting.
I thought I switched him out for Mike Gesicki.
Oh, did you? All right. Well, that is not on my little sheet. I guess I need to refresh.
I did that
never
pretty
mind.
recently, though. I did.
So
that
never mind. 85.3. So the total is 186.8. So that's whenever I first loaded these, you hadn't made this up
I'm
yet.
gonna pick the upset. I like Thomas here. Here's why. Here's my reasoning. I don't trust the Bengals passing game. I think it's going to be an ugly game on Monday Night Football. So that's going to hurt him. Joe Burrow's been kind of carrying him recently. And then my other logic is I think the Browns are trading Kareem Hunt. I don't think they're going to want to play him this week. He's going to get limited work. So Morgan is good. I mean, Thomas is going to have the lead. Dan's going to think he's got it locked up coming into Monday night. He's going to be down by like 15, and he's not going to get there. I got Thomas.
I'm going to take Dan. I disagree with that take. I think the Brown secondary is really bad. And their defense is pretty bad in general. I think Ramondre against the Jets, I think they'll be winning that game. They normally run the ball really well against the Jets. So I like that matchup a lot. And not historically though. Belichick's always got something up his sleeve. Zeke not playing, huge for Tony Pollard for Dan. So I like Dan's team, and Dan's been on a little bit of a roll here recently. So I will agree with Thomas and take Dan.
Yeah, I mean, like my team is literally just like a walking funeral. Like I don't like I like it, even like with all the things that you just said, Parker, I can't score. Like the team that I'm throwing out.
Back. We already talked about the fast turf. All right.
Okay.
That's a 25-pointer.
Yeah. Yeah, with the fast turf or whatever, he's just gonna suddenly like blow out his knee, right? And then you know what? He's gonna get one carry, and then he's literally like his just knee's gonna explode.
That is the way things have been trending. Yeah. You're due for some good injury luck, though.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, I'm tanking.
Maybe Dan will have a guy go down early. Look, if you win this week, you're 3-5, and you're like literally right in it.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like I'm in it with, and I'm not like trying to stall for like these players to come back. Like they're not coming back.
Yeah, that is true. The upside is somewhat limited.
There is no upside. It's only pain.
Anyway, so I guess last question would be, we normally ask this to all of our guests, is who do you think is the best team in the league / who do you think will win the DJ this year?
Well, I'm winning the Sacco. Turns out the Sacco punishment is lame, so I can't even like have fun with that either. So,
I mean, it'll be appropriate if you finally win the Haney, I think.
Oh yeah, right. Especially after you change it.
Well, we still have a trophy.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The best team in the league. I mean, like, I feel like it would be really stupid to say anyone but Hunter, right? Like he's just so far and away ahead of everybody.
Yeah, he certainly is in the standings. I think. Yeah, I mean, that is the like choice.
I think like what you're probably like implying is that like other teams have higher upside, like a higher ceiling than Hunter, but like, I mean,
I don't even know if that's true because he's got his running backs are just ridiculous. He's got Derrick Henry,
he's just
Josh Jacobs, and Aaron Jones,
and then he's got one of the top 2 receivers, and Gabe Davis,
and they're all healthy.
We're back, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't have a ton of depth, so I guess if he gets a couple injuries, but I mean, every team if they get a couple injuries is kind of fucked. So
yeah,
me.
Yeah. Case in point, you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that'll do it for week 8 of Are You Ready for a Podcast? Fantasy football Are You Ready for a Podcast? The official podcast of Are You Ready for Some Football Fantasy Football League. Thank you to Thomas for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
And
anytime.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next week for week 9.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Your cat is a diabetic?
Yeah. Yeah. So I got to stick him with insulin every 12 hours.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty crazy. That's basically what I do.
Dude, yeah. You stick people with insulin?
Yeah. Pretty much.
They let you do that? I thought they start you out with saline.
To be honest, I don't stick people with anything. I just put in orders and someone else does it for me.
Oh. Okay, well then. Damn it.
Live in the sun.
I don't know. I might throw this part in at the end.
Okay.
Outtakes.